how are you? It's Travis here, and welcome back to our adventures with the Hardcore Warrior.
Hello.
Last episode, we did some engineering, guys, mostly a town episode. We also leveled up cooking, we leveled up some of our abilities, and then we went to Ashara and finished up a few quests, and now we are back in Feralus to finish a few quests as well. Going to pick up Mountain Giant Busek today. The last task I will require of you is to travel to the northwest and find the final enemy. The mountain giants left the mountains to aid the night elves when the Burning Legion appeared in the world. You will know them by their massive size and the way the ground begins to shake as you travel their rocky terrain. I am eager to harness power of that size, kill 7 mountain giants, then use the music vessel to capture their powerful music.
See ya later.
Alright, so there we go. We picked that up. They are elites. But supposedly, if we get the giant zapper, we can zap them. And then shrink them down and be able to handle, a 1v1 with them. So we'll check that out. Shout out to Monet for telling me about that. It's the main reason why we're back here. And then once we're done with that, if we got enough time, we're going to fly over to Gadgetstan to talk to the artisan and engineer and get our engineering up to 300. And then we can start leveling it up even more. But I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm doing pretty good. Looking forward to getting these quests done and a little bit more XP. Getting close to 55. It's a really good level because at level 55 you sort of feel like you can pretty much go to any zone in the game and hold your own. So we're almost there. And I did buy an extra bank slot last episode. I know it's pretty damn expensive. We spent 50 gold on it. I got a comment about that I should have bought bags instead, just because they're cheaper, and then I could have got the slots from the bags. A lot of my bags in there are 8-slot bags. Pretty sure in the bank. I have to check. Probably some 6 slots in there too. Mostly all 8 slots. But to purchase 10-slot and 12-slot bags from vendors, it's pretty damn expensive. And my thought process behind that was the bank slot's always going to be, 50 gold. The next one's 100, which is crazy. Right? But if I hit 60 and eventually, maybe turn off self-found, because we got through the journey, maybe I should just turn it off and actually be able to use the auction house, then the bags that I purchase from the auction house are like 80% cheaper than the ones I would buy off of vendors. So that is my thought process behind that. So I just decided to get another bank slot because the price of that is not going to change whether I'm self-found or not. And I heard something, like an interesting statistic about Steam gamers. I'm on Steam too. I think every gamer has a Steam account, or they get one eventually. But supposedly half of their libraries, their game libraries, are left unplayed. It's kind of wild. I think I have some unplayed games. I don't know if it's 50% of my library. But, I do have some unplayed games. One of them would be the Witcher's franchise. And they always get you during the Steam sales, right? Like, there's a Steam sale going on, you're just browsing through it. And you see, like, a franchise that you want to play, and then, like, all their games are, like, 50% off. So you just buy it up, right? And that's what I did, because I thought I would, get into The Witcher. Which is an awesome franchise. I hope to get into it in the future. Eventually. When but whenever you get some time. But yeah, I never played it, never got into it, so it's been just sitting in my Steam library for ages.
Got But maybe this wasn't the best place for a shop after all. I'm going to have to do something about the giants if I stay out here. They're certainly not good for business now, are they? I've been working on a variant of a gnomish shrinking ray, but I'm using superior goblin technological advances in its construction. In an effort to avoid inconveniences for myself, such as death, I'd like for you to try it out on any of the giants in Feralas. You should find miniaturization residue on them after you shrink them. Bring me back some. If I bet against my own better judgment and stay to run an engineering shop along the Forgotten Coast, I will need to deal with these pesky elementals. Curse the powers of elementalism unchecked, I say. Fortunately for me, and now for you, my hopeful agent provocateur, the elementals represent an ideal source of raw power for my ultra-shrinker refinement. Give them the what for, I say. When doing this, though, be sure to save me the water elemental cores.
Alright, there we go. So we gotta farm some water elementals. We'll do that first. And then we'll have to deal with these Deep Strider giants. I wonder if I can get the residue from these guys. Yeah, I can. Probably head up there and try to get some residue from them. We'll deal with the elementals first. And supposedly, back to the Steam game stuff, like so the median is 50% of games that people purchase they don't even play. Maybe they don't even download it. And supposedly that's the reason why game developers give Valve a 30% sales cut, because you get access to a bunch of drunken sailors who spend money irresponsibly. So, yeah, the chances of you like selling your games pretty damn high on Steam. It's probably the best marketplace to sell games. But I've kind of stopped splurging on games now because I have Amazon Prime, and every week on Amazon Prime I'm getting free games on Epic and GOG.com. And then every week Epic is also shelling out a few free games, right? And sometimes the games are pretty damn good, and it's games you would probably end up purchasing. So I rarely buy games now because I'm like, I always think in the back of my mind, maybe this will, in a few weeks, this will just be a free game. Especially if it's an older title, like it's a few years old. So now I just don't really splurge anymore on the sales. But these probably still get me a couple times. Like I bought RimWorld a couple like months ago. It's always been like a cool game that I've always wanted to get into, but that's another one. They got me with that one. It's like that was a game I knew would not ever be free. The developer rarely even does sales for it, so that game would never be for free. It's an awesome game. I'll tell you guys about it. It's pretty much a survival simulator. So you get thrown on this. You get like 3 characters. I've never beat the game. I haven't really got that far in it. But the gist of it is you get 3 characters. You get thrown into this like simulated world. It's pretty much a roguelike game. And you have to survive. And the interesting thing about the game is all these different, characters have random generated traits. Like some of them are good at building, some of them are good at shooting guns, some of them are more social than others, some of them don't like being social. It's a very interesting game, and like every playthrough you do will probably be different from the last. And I've always wanted to get into it, but just haven't had the time. So I bought that game, and reason why is because it never goes on sale. The developer just knows he has a good game there, and it's just like, this is the price. So I just picked it up. But maybe one day we'll play it on the channel. And then I got the GTA series, and I played a lot of that so far, but I want to get back into that as well. But it's just a lot of WoW, man. WoW really keeps you in. That's one thing about WoW that I love and hate about the game is there's always something new coming out in WoW. They always hook you back in. with either, especially now with like Classic, right? They got fresh vanilla servers, fresh hardcore servers, Mist of Pandaria, new retail expansions coming out. It never ends. Classic Plus. But I do like playing other games. It's one thing I wanted to do this year was to make an effort to play other games. And I'm somewhat doing that, but not as much as I want to. Oh, here we go. Doing okay with the cores, need 8 more. Try zapping the giants soon once we see one here. And supposedly Bethesda, heard about this, they're going to start getting into the remastered games, taking advantage of it. You might be seeing, you know, a Fallout 3 remastered coming soon, I think. Pretty smart move to do that. New Vegas would be awesome as well. I never played New Vegas, but heard that's like the best, one of the best Fallouts. So that would be cool if that got a remastered or a little bit of a graphics overhaul. Because then I could, you know, dive into it with some new graphics. Fallout 1 would be awesome as a remastered. Because that game is... supposedly the source code for that game is lost, from what I've heard, but it'd be really cool to play Fallout 1. Never played Fallout 1. Played a little bit of 3 when I was younger. It was a long time ago. I think that was the first Fallout I ever played was 3. Tried out 4, never beat it, just checked it out for a bit. But Fallout is a pretty cool franchise. Played Outer Worlds, that's coming out with it's not Fallout, but it's pretty much the same premise, but it's like Fallout in space. And they're coming out with an Outer Worlds 2. And I think their studio is called Obsidian. And they worked with Bethesda to create New Vegas. So that was the hype behind, there's a lot of hype behind the Outer Worlds, because a lot of people thought it would be like New Vegas, which has like a cult following, and it was good. I liked Outer Worlds. Pretty cool game. we'll check out too. And those games you can always play like multiple playthroughs, right? Because the story changes based on the decisions you make. Outer Worlds has like a... It's like an anti-capitalist story. And we were... that's kind of the role I took on. Like, you could either work for the corporations... What the heck was that, dude? That scared the crap out of me. Little sneaky water elemental in there. But yeah, you could either choose to work for the corporations, right? Or you can choose to not, right? Work for the people. And I was kind of like, oh, I chose the people, right? I was like an anti-corporation type of person. I was like the good... I assume that's like the good guy role, right? In that game. Probably not doing the stress beacon. But I wish I did another playthrough and actually checked out like the pro corporation side. Just to see what that's like. And the monk's been fun. I've been enjoying playing the monk. I think it's a very well-designed class. It just feels good to play it. Happy that I'm checking it out. And I'm looking forward to actually getting him to max level. Maybe think about doing some PvP with that character, just to have him as a fun PvP character. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And I really enjoy that version of, like, what they've done with that version of Classic, because you can never really fall behind. They have these things called Celestial Dungeons that are more challenging dungeons with more mechanics and harder bosses, but you get previous tier raid loot from it. So you can always just jump back into the game whenever. If you feel like, you know, kind of taking a break. And they need to do that now because people just don't... There's just... Well, even if you do have the time to play all the versions, it's hard to, because there's just too much content in this game. Like, even if you had all the time in the world, I don't think you could probably get... Like, have an endgame character for every single iteration of the game. You know, an endgame hardcore character, an endgame classic anniversary character, an endgame Mr. Pandaria character, and an endgame retail. It's just way too many characters. It's kind of ridiculous how much content this game has. Oh, this guy's got all the alchemy flasks. We used the shrink ray on him. I guess that's how it works. Any other mobs around here? It's like we're safe. And they're doing some cool stuff with PvP too. They're clearly focused on the PvP side of Mr. Pandaria, because it is considered one of the best or well-balanced PvP expansions that World of Warcraft has ever done. And what they're doing is they're adding dampening to arenas. So if an arena lasts for a long time, dampening a dampening debuff goes on your character, and you receive, you know, less heals. So 5% less heals, 10%. And then eventually it just becomes like you can't really get healed. Because that was one of the problems with it back then was some games would just never end. And they're also capping the item level, I believe, at like 475 or something like that. Say you have like really good PvE gear, you won't really be able to bring that into PvP. Because that was sort of a thing that players didn't like back then, was how they were sort of forced to PvE so they could PvP. Because some of the loot from PvE was really strong. And it was like that for a while. Like, TBC was like that, Wrath of Extreme. Cataclysm, perfect example of that with the legendary weapons. So they're trying to stop that in you missed a Pandaria. And then Conquest Cap can last up to 4 weeks. You can build up your Conquest Cap for 4 weeks. So you can stop playing for like say 2 weeks, take a break, come back, and then get 4 weeks worth of Conquest. So you don't really have like this feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fall behind if I don't get my Conquest Cap for the week. That was such a good thing to do, man. They're just making the game more, like, I don't know, casual friendly. But getting rid of like the time gating mechanics, I guess you could say. A couple more cores to go. Try to get another food buff here. We got a giant close to us. Maybe we should just deal with the giant. So the range on this weapon is pretty insane. This Zorbin's Ultra Shrinker, that was far range. And wow, these giants are getting completely trashed. Yeah, we got some residue. Can I use this on them? No. I have to use it on the other giants. They're actually easier to kill when you zap them than the sea elementals. There's the boat over there. It goes to an Alliance stronghold. Just out on the water there. Never really liked that. I forget the name of the place. It's like Feather or something. I think the location is brutal. You always have to wait for the boat to get over to the Feralus. The dock is right over here. The Horde just have better location. Like you're right here, and then Dire Maul's right there. You don't have to wait for a boat to get to land. That's one thing about the Alliance that kind of sucks in vanilla. The placement of their locations of their like forts and stuff are kind of not the greatest. Same with Stranglethorn Vale. They have like the only thing they have there is Booty Bay. Well, the Horde has, you know, Grumgall Base Camp right here. Got a mage here, level 48. Zap the giant. Not a bad quest for casters. You get a lot of water. See all that water you can get from this quest? Pretty good. Not bad if you're like a priest or a class that can't make their own water. You can just farm water here. I'm not sure if this is a good way to go. Kind of competing with this mage to fight the elementals. We could deal with both at the same time. I'm not going to try, but if I build up enough rage, might not be a bad idea. Didn't do much. It wasn't really worth it, to be honest. Got like a sliver of health from cleaving. We might have to use a health pot here, potentially. One at a time's the way to go. We just don't have the damage to make cleaving, like doing 2 at a time, worth it. Need like fiery weapon on your axe and like all these enchants, and our gear's pretty mediocre. And we're at the levels where like this weapon is just, it just gets worse, so it's not that great over time, right? Really shines in the 30s, 40s, it's pretty good. Once you start getting into like the late 40s, 50s, it just becomes like a, you know, it's still a good weapon, but it's just not as good as it was at lower levels. Use up some of these bandages. Hopefully we get the final water elemental core here, and then we can move up here. Try to get the rest of the residue and finish off those other giants. There we go. I got the final core. Let's turn this in.
Yeah, what do you want? Hurry back.
While I could bore you with the technical details of the utility behind the elemental cores, I'll instead tempt you to completion of this important task by offering valuable coin and prizes for doing so. Jan, verily, are you finished?
Scrumdiddly-rific. These cores will keep me working for some time. Add to that the benefit of there now being fewer elementals along the coast, and I might no longer cry myself to sleep at the prospect of having set up shop in perhaps the worst place imaginable. Thank you, adventurer, for your efforts on my behalf. While it certainly straps me financially to do this, allow me to show you some gratitude you may understand and appreciate. Loot.
There we go. We got some loot. He gave us this hat. Zorban's water-resistant hat. Looks like a fisherman's cap. 9 stamp, 14 intellect, 8 spirit. Then we got a BOE as well here. The Venom Shroud Mask. $10 stamp, 16 intellect, 4 nature resist. We got some elemental water as well. I think you can make frost resist bots with this. Pretty good in Nax when you fight Saffron. Pretty sure this makes the frost resist pots. Good to stash these on the other. Well, let's just stash them for when the Nax Rammus phase 6 comes out, and then you sell them on the auction house. Can make a decent amount of coin doing that, but you probably won't be the only one doing it, right? Every market's been found out nowadays with this game, so there's always like an influx of people, you know, selling the same stuff you're trying to sell. It's hard to compete with the botters on that and the gold sellers on that stuff. That's why a lot of people just give up and end up swiping. Because if you ever try to play the auction house, it just doesn't even feel worth it. But you can get lucky if you pay attention to it. Like, actually, you could probably find a little niche to make some easy coin. You need like a profession like blacksmithing, or a profession that a lot of people don't have. I forget what you could sell with that. There's like sharpening stones and stuff. Maybe that market's not too bad. I had a buddy who would do that. They just buy the ore and make sharpening stones and resell them, make a small profit. This was back in the day. Let's see if these giants are tough. Seem kind of tough. But we can handle them 1v1. Yeah, we got the residue now. We can use this. Get that quest done. Need 10 more residue. And then 6 more of these. We're also getting some solid stone, which is good because we can make some more of the blasting powder with that. A lot of low levels, well, not a lot, but a few. Got wrecked in the Barrens. This guy died to a coal car blood charger. Says have a lot of armor too. There's no chance we would be able to kill them if they were in their elite form. I wonder what we'll do next after we do Gadget Stand. You got the long tooths here, you got some more meats. There is Ungoro. Goro's pretty good at right now. 54, and then we have Shara. It's not bad, but the Blood Elves there are kind of scary. Looks like I forgot to turn in the Cordumi Orb and Ogremar. Probably head back there. Probably go to Felwood. Would be a good idea. Alright, so let's fight these Landwalkers here. Pretty much the same as the other giants. Not much of a difference. Get another food buff. And I wonder where all the Season of Discovery players are going to go to now that they're kind of done with developing it. I think they're trying to push them over to Mista Pandaria. Clearly, right? They're giving them, if you defeat the last boss in the Scarlet Crusade raid that they had, that's the name of it. Supposedly they give you like a free character boost for Mista Pandaria. So I think they're really trying to make that expansion, I guess, the one that they want people to be playing. So I think Classic Plus is probably out the window for now. The experiment, I guess, is over. What the heck? These guys have boulders. So we're trying to pull him away a bit to get him away from that gorilla. All it takes is just pull that gorilla and we'd have a sort of a tough fight on our hands. I just need a little bit more residue. This will be the last music we need. Want to tank Princess? We want to tank Princess. We have a quest for it. Should I tank Princess? I don't know. What levels everybody? 52 Priest? They're in the Blasted Lands. I don't know. I want to take Princess. We have a quest for it, though, I think. Princess Therager's slain, yeah. We get either Thrash Blade Resurgence Rod or a bow. Power Blade's pretty nice. Grants an extra attack on swing. I don't know why, I'm just trying to stay away from Maradon. This is the difference with the Landwalkers, they throw boulders at you. I don't know if I want to take Princess. I'm not sure. It would be cool, it's just it would suck to die, man. I mean, when you're tanking, if someone's gonna die, it's gonna be you. It's level 52 though, he's a pretty high level priest. The loot's pretty good as well. It's a nice ring that drops off Princess that we could use. Let's focus on these quests for now. We'll think about that later. It's always something we can do, you know, later on when we hit level 60. Maybe we'll just head back down here and deal with the sea giants. Need 3 more residue. You have to go back down that way anyways. These ones are pretty easy to kill. Might as well just finish these guys off. Just trying to stay away from the giants that patrolling mobs around them. A little anxious, I guess you could say, at these levels because we're so close. You know, dying would be terrible. If you check our slash played right now, we're at like 6 days. 2 hours at this level already. Almost 7 days. So we'll be around 8 days when we hit level 60. Hopefully we do. Yeah, 8 days will probably be it. Oh, another one just spawned on over here. Need one more piece of residue. These guys are kind of the safer ones to slay. The cliff giants, they don't throw boulders at you. Like one patrolling over here though. Yeah, at this level, the 50s, you might as well just wait till 60, man. And then you can do your pre-bis grind and do all those other dungeons. You've been disconnected from Blizzard services. What the heck does that even mean? Okay, so I guess there's no friends list. Does that mean we're going to DC? A little freaky. Think we're okay, hopefully. Let's get ahead of here though. Try to get to the road. You're now connected. Okay. It's like a little bit of a DDoS there. Probably not a DDoS, but you never know. If it was a DDoS, we'd be out pretty much. Be at the characters, the disconnect screen. This priest died to a harpy. and the Barons. They're pretty brutal to deal with. Common place to die. There's a lot of patrols around there. Yeah, I'm just going to try to play it safe to 60 as best I can. It's going to take us a while to get there, but we're so close to the finish line, and I really want to get a warrior to 60. So I'm going to try to stay away from groups. I've had some pretty bad experiences with healers just, you know, not healing me and just hurting out, so we're just gonna avoid that. If I die that way at 60, it is what it is, but at 55, that would really, or 54, that would really suck. You never know with healers, man. You know, they could be having a bad day and just like, you know, I'm just gonna let this tank die. And I've heard of, like, horror stories of, like, people paying other players to, like, not heal a tank in their group and let them die. Boom, plop. Shaman went down to a fallen root rogue in Ashenvale. Alright, let's turn this in, guys.
Time is money, friend.
Miniaturization residue, I assure you, is a valuable commodity when it comes to engineering. Well, it is valuable in that it helps me make the zapper make sure the zapper won't do something as disappointing as exploding on the user. Oh, I mean for the zappers other than the one I gave you, absolutely.
Splendiferous. Not only am I glad to see that you've returned with the residue, but also with all your major appendages intact. That is, well, there was never any danger in using the Ultra Shrinker, now was there? I do appreciate your effort on my behalf, adventurer. Truly, you are a friend to goblins everywhere. Accept this as a token of my appreciation.
Alright, so we got this new sword. Pretty nice sword. Zorbin's Mega Slicer, 28.7 damage per second. 6 agi, 5 stamina. And this is the port that takes you to Feathermoon. Just trying to get a screenshot here. For some reason you can't offset the camera the way I want to. Do like a little screenshot there. And then we'll hearth back to Camp Mahache. We'll turn in Mountain Giant Music, get some more XP. Sell a little bit of junk
As the wind
here.
on the plains, you are always welcome here.
Don't really need any of this stuff. It's too bad we have to sell, just vendor it all. Could have made quite a bit more gold if we were able to use the auction house. Alright, so let's turn this in.
Who you be? Later.
Were you able to capture the mountain giants?
Seeing ya.
Just imagine the possibilities of what we now possess, Travisine, along with the materials that you have collected. I will be able to forever trap the music of these creatures into whatever I wish.
See ya later.
Weapons of spirit.
Later.
Viewing the music into the weapon is a difficult process. Now that I have all of the required materials and the music of the creatures that you captured, I may begin. Please wait, I will return in a moment. Then we'll get a weapon from him. Alright, there we go. We made the weapon. I've completed the weapons.
Hello, man. Be seeing ya.
As promised, you have your choice, Travisine. The music of the creatures has been forever sealed into the power of these weapons. You may now wield their energy as your own. Use it well. So it's insane how these are actually pretty much comparable to Whirlwind Axe. That's crazy that this is actually better than Whirlwind Axe. So this is Will of the Mountain Giant. It's a slower weapon. Nah, it's actually not better than Whirlwind Axe, just because it's a slower weapon. So it does 39.5 damage per second. The problem is that the top end damage is 133. The Whirlwind Axe is 154, so you get bigger crits with a Whirlwind Axe. See the other weapons they have here? The staff's a bit better, the two-handed staff. Problem is it has intellect on it. Doesn't really do anything for us. The damage is pretty good. I have a main-handed axe, 9 agi, 30.4 damage per second. And then a mace that does the same. I think the 9 agi mace axe is probably the best thing. You know, if we get 2 one-handers, we have another one-hander. This is sword, 30 damage per second and 28 attack power. It's like 28 strength. Pretty nice. It's a nice weapon right there. Guess we'll take Force of the Hippogriff. What are our axes at? If we ever want to go one-handers, maybe use it. Have to level it up though. Our axes are at 1. Our maces are same thing, 77. Yeah, we'll just take Force of the Hippogriff.
See ya later.
Well, there we go, guys. We probably won't switch to one-handers or go Fury Warrior, but it's good that we have some now if we ever want to switch. I probably have to wait until we get like 50 gold though, because we'd have to get a second talent tree. Or I'd have to just go to a trainer, lose all these talents, and then you can switch to Fury, but I don't know if we'll do that. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But we will see, guys. Next episode, we will head over to Gadgetstan. Maybe do some quests here. Might be a good time to investigate the Noxious Lair at this level. And then the Ancient Egg. Do we have that egg? We have an egg on us. We have a Hippogriff egg. I think we turn that in over here, I'm pretty sure. Super Eggomatic. So maybe we'll turn that in. We'll also level up our engineering so we can get it to 300. But that is going to be the end of today's episode, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Keep your heads up. Later.